Hello, are you ready to make beaded pumpkins? So the first thing you're going to need are your beads. You're going to need a yarn needle. You need your yarn. And you want to make sure when you pick out your yarn and your yarn needle that the needle will fit through the hole of your bead along with the yarn. So if you're getting pony beads, you should be fine with your standard sized yarn needle. So go ahead, find out what size you're doing. I'm going to be hopefully doing the small. Hopefully I have enough yarn left. I might be pulling a chicken here. And go ahead and thread the number of beads indicated. So for a small, looks like we need 25 beads. And that's going to be 5 partitions of 5 beads each. So go ahead and get your beads threaded. And then you can take off your yarn needle. And we are going to begin. So for the size small, we need to chain 17. So 1, 2, 3, 15, 16, 17. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the second chain from hook, and then also into the next 2. And you want to try to keep your tension kind of lax with that. You don't want it too tight because we're going to be working back into those, and it can get to be pretty snug in there. And then we're going to go ahead and single crochet all the way across until the last 3 chains. 2, 3, 9, 10. All right, and then we're going to slip stitch into the last 3. 2, 3. All right, and this is what we have so far. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now, right here, you see these 3 braids, 1, 2, 3, those are our slip stitches. The rest of these over here are our single crochets. And what we want to do is work into the back loop. So right here, this right there, that's the front loop. We don't want to work into that. We want to work into the back loop. We're going to go ahead and slip stitch and try to keep it loose. Okay, we're going to go into the back loop of the next one. Slip stitch, and then back loop, slip stitch. See? All right, next we'll single crochet in the next single crochet, and then what we're going to do is take your first bead on your little, and we're going to slide it across. And you want to slide it so that it is snug against the last single crochet stitch you made. So we got it back there. I'm going to kind of lock it in. So when you grab your yarn, don't grab it before, because you see he's not locked in anymore. Got to get it locked in and pull your yarn through, and then finish with a single crochet. And the bead is going to show on the opposite side. So 1, 2, and we're going to do that again. We're going to slide another bead. Okay. And we're going to get it snug against the last stitch, and then we're going to single crochet into the next 1, 2. See how that turns up over there? And then we're going to slide another bead. And we're going to do that all the way across until the last single crochet. And we should, for this size, end up using 5 of the beads. So 1, 2, and we're going to slide, and then single crochet. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to end up with 1 single crochet before the slip stitches. And there we go. We have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to slip stitch. So you can see right here, you can see front braids right here, but that's not what we want to go into. On the top, is where you want to look for the braids. So we have the front loop and the back loop. And we're going to go, and it'll get easier as you continue on. So there'll be more to grasp over here. So slip stitch back loop, slip stitch back loop, slip stitch back loop, and make those kind of loose. And this is going to be, of course, your right side of the pumpkin. Turn. And then what you're going to do is you're going to slip stitch back loop into the first 3. We're always going to do that from here on out. Slip stitch into the back loop only of the first 3 and the last 3. Now here we're going to single crochet back loop only of every stitch, all the single crochet stitches. So back loop, 1, 2. And again, your size may be different, so you might have a different number of single crochets, but you want a single crochet back loop only all the way to the last 3 slip stitches. So we're going to keep on going. So we have 1 more, and then we have our last 3. Remember to keep your tension kind of light. And if you're a loose crocheter, that should be pretty simple for you. And what that does, by working into the back loop, it kind of makes like a little ridge, kind of makes this little edge, this little partition pop. All right, so we're gonna turn, get some more slack, get those beads over there because we won't need them for a little bit. And we are going to slip stitch again, back loop only. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so next we're going to do a bobble, and we're going to work that into the next single crochet. So we're going to go yarn over once, insert a hook, take off 2, and we're going to do that 2 more times, so for a total of 3 times in that same single crochet stitch. So over, in, pull up, take off 2. Once more, in, take off 2, and we're left with 4 stitches on the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to yarn over and take all this off. Now, a lot of times in popcorn stitches and bobble stitches, you chain 1 to close. We're not going to do that here. We're just going to go directly into our next single crochet. See that? So we're going to single crochet into the next single crochet like that. All right, and that is what we're going to do all the way across. We're going to do a bobble to the next stitch, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, take off 2, and yarn over, take off all 4, and single crochet. And as you see, as you single crochet, it kind of works as the chain 1, and these little baby bobbles start to appear on the opposite side. So again, we're going to do that all the way across. And if you don't like the sound of the bead slapping, just give yourself a little bit of yarn slack there. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet. And 1, 2, 3, take off 4, single crochet. Now here we're back to our slip stitches. We're going to slip stitch back loop. 1, 2, 3. All right, so we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to slip stitch back loop only, loosely 1, or just enough that you'll get to know your tension and how tight you have to, or how loose rather, that you need to make those in order to, get your hook in. All right, so now if you turn back around, you'll see that this is the braid right here for your bobble. And you'll see that this is the braid. This is the braid right here for your bobble stitch. This is the braid right here for your single crochet stitch. So we're going to work into each stitch. on the other side. So when you turn, this right here is that last single crochet stitch. So one, we're going to single crochet in our first single crochet in our bobble, two, single crochet in our single crochet in our bobble, and we're going to do that all the way across. Look at that, I already used up that little bit of slack that I did. All right, all the way across, one, all the way across. See, and we're going to go into our bobble. Now remember, there is no single crochet over here. Our last stitch is a bobble because we started the row off with a bobble. We didn't start with a single crochet. So you see the last three that we have here are slip stitches. So we're going to slip stitch those last, whoop, got an extra stitch there. One, two, and three. So there we go. Now the next row is going to be a little different. It's going to be a bobble row, but what we're going to do is everything is going to shift so that the bobbles are kind of, staggered. All right, so next we're going to chain one and turn, go ahead and slip stitch back loop only loosely into those first three. One, two, three. And now, before we started with the bobble, and this time we're going to start with a single crochet. So single crochet, and then we're going to work a bobble into the next stitch, go 4, and single crochet in your next stitch, and do that all the way across. Single, 1, 2, 3, single, and then 1, 2, and if I'm going too fast, it's the same as before. We're doing the little bobble stitches with single crochet between. So we're going to get to the last 2 stitches. So we're going to single crochet and then work a bobble. So basically, unlike the previous bobble row, everything is just shifted over once. So before we ended with a single crochet, and now we're going to end with a bobble. So take those off, and then we're going to go right into our slip stitches. So into the back loop only, 1, 2, 3, and chain 1, turn. Now you can see how the bobbles on this row are nested between the bobbles on the previous row. And you'll start to see that your slip stitch edge is going to be shorter. So your bobbles, it's going to kind of start to angle, and that's okay. That is completely okay. So we're going to rinse and repeat. We're going to slip stitch our first. Did I miss one? Did I not do 3? See, even sometimes I have to check my work, see what I did. Did I do 1, 2, 3? Oh, I did do 3. See? If you're just learning, even later, you're gonna sometimes still have to check things, make sure you did it right. So there's my 3 slip stitches. And then there we go. See that first stitch, instead of it being a single crochet, it's a slip stitch. See that? Even my mind is sometimes playing tricks on me. So slip stitch 1, slip stitch 2. And you gotta sometimes turn it to see the top braid to get that back loop. And slip stitch 3. And then we're going to single crochet in the bobble. Remember, the bobble is the long braid and the singles are the shorter braids. So we're going to single crochet in every stitch across. Give yourself some slack to stop that rattling if that bothers you. And single, 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 crochet all the way across, and we're going to end with a single crochet in the last single crochet, and then we're going to do our last 3 slip stitches. 1, 2, 3. Look at that. All right, we're going to chain 1, turn again, start with our slip stitches. All right, so now we are going to do a repeat of this first bobble row because we want them again nested between these. So before they shifted this way, so this next row is going to be aligned with this one. We're going to shift this way. So we're going to start with a bobble. 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet. We're going to bobble, 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 and single crochet. 1. I love these variegated yarns. You just never know how things are going to turn out with them. How the color is going to pool, and whoop, I need more slack. There we go. And so our last row ended with a bobble. This one's going to end with a single crochet. See that? And then we're going to single crochet back loop only, or no, slip stitch back loop only. See that? I'm going too fast, getting ahead of myself. Slip stitch 1, 2, 3. Okay, go on and turn. See how these ridges, these are kind of getting close to one another. So we're going to slip stitch 1, 2, 3. And you see, remember we ended with a single crochet, so our first stitch is going to be a single crochet. 1, 2, all the way across. And this is kind of the setup for our bead row, because remember the beads show up on the opposite side. So 1, 2, all the way to the end. 3. There's that. So here we go, our next bead row. Go ahead and turn. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're going to start with a single crochet in the first single crochet, and then we are going to slide our bead and get it nestled next to the last stitch. And remember, we're going to lock it in, so we want to kind of trap it in. 1, 2. So basically it is, each bead is divided by 2 single crochets, with 1 single crochet at the beginning and 1 at the end. 2. Get that bead slid over. And if you wanted to, if you want to just get into experimental mode, you could do a bead like every other single crochet. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1, turn. All right, here's our second. All right, and then we're just going to repeat again, like that. See, going to the back loop only. And each time, you definitely want to count to make sure you have the right number of beads, the right number of bobbles, just so it all looks uniform. Single crochet, and then we're going to do our slip stitch back loop only, like that. See, it kind of makes that ridge pop a little. And then we're going to start our bobbles, just like before. Slip stitch, and we're going to go right into a bobble. 1, 2, sorry, I should get some more slack here. 2, 3, close, single crochet. And 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet. And we're going to do that all the way across. And for the size small, it's going to be 5 partitions. And you'll have to check for your size to see how many partitions, and just every now and then just take a glance, make sure everything is aligning, everything is looking right. All right, so here we are halfway through. Just wanted to give a little show. Oh, I love variegated yarn. Just love to see, especially this one. I love how it's turning into this dark rainbow. Perfect for Halloween. All right, here we go. We have 5 partitions for the small. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Isn't this yarn just beautiful? Love variegated yarn. This one makes such a pretty dark rainbow, especially with these beads. It's kind of like, can you see this? It's kind of like a little iridescent black gunmetal. Goes perfect, I think. All right, so we have our 5 partitions, and you could see it just naturally wants to curve, especially with this, you know, like tighter slip stitch edge, and that's the purpose of that. So now we're going to do, this is of course our right side with the bobbles and the beads, and maybe just bobbles if you didn't do beads. And we want to fold it so that the right sides are facing, touching each other. So that way we're working on the wrong side. And don't turn it around this way, because then your yarn's going to tuck through. Just wherever your yarn is, kind of, there we go. See that? Look at that. Can't even tell anything from this ridge, this line, from the next. See that? And when we work around, see, look, I have this like little notch right here. And that's okay. It's going to even out. We are going to even this out. All right, so now that we have that connected, what we're going to do is we're just going to single crochet around this edge. Now, the number of single crochet is not critical. I'm going to do approximately 16. Just kind of spacing them out. 3, 4, 5. About halfway, half of 16 would be 8. So we kind of want 8 about halfway through. We ended up right here about 8. So we're pretty close. 9, 10, 16. All right. That's pretty good. See, and there we go. There's our 16 single crochet. And, you know, could probably do a little bit more, maybe a little less. Again, it's not critical. Now we're going to just single crochet in every other. So skip, single crochet, skip, single crochet, and this is just going to tighten this up. And this row you don't even have to do, but depending on how big your hole is and how big your twig or your cinnamon stick is. Around. Did I do? I don't know. I wasn't counting, but that's okay. And after joining, I always like to chain 1 and then pull back close. All right, so we cut the yarn on that. Yeah, I want to leave probably like 12 to 18 inches, probably be good. Go ahead and get your yarn needle. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of weave the yarn in and out of the last stitches. See that, like that? Now this is gonna be the bottom. All right, so got that like that. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that tight. And we're just gonna go ahead and knot that. Like that. There we go. We got a good knot. That's good for right now. And you can knot it more if you need to. Look at these beautiful colors. All right, see, and I ended up doing 17 on this. If you do 1, you know, 2 less, it is not critical. And then we're just going to single crochet in every other, just like on the other side. All right, and now we are ready for the fun part, the stuffing. Go ahead and get your stuffing and go ahead and start to, and before you do if you find like there's not enough room for your fingers to get in here and stuff, you can wait to do that single crochet in every other stitch until after you've got this stuffed, or where you've got it primarily fully stuffed, and then you just want to add a little bit tidbits at the end. Look at that, look at that. Oh, I love these colors. Get a little bit more. And what I love about this stitch is you don't see any of the stuffing. Well, of course, I'm sure you could stuff it more and really try to see that stuffing between, but for the most part, this is a pretty closed stitch pattern. So make sure you don't grab any of that stuffing. That. All the way around to the beginning we go. Oh, don't close it all the way. Ah, okay. So what I like to do, and there are so many different ways to do this, but I like to keep my hole right there. I like to keep, because I have a cinnamon stick, and you could even use your stick instead of this hole to kind of gauge how big to make it. Because I find that some of these that I picked up, they're scented, which is pretty kind of cool. But I'm figuring like after a year, it's probably going to lose its scent, right? So I want to be able to switch them out. And I mean, and you can, if you want to, if you're not using a scented one, you can just, you know, hot glue or however you want to secure this. But I want to be able to remove mine year after year. Or if I want to, you know, if I find some cool looking sticks outside, or so I want to leave this big enough so that I know kind of what I want to, the size that I want it to be, which will be ample enough for, well, you know, multiple different kinds of sizes of sticks and cinnamon sticks. So we're going to go ahead and tie this up, and you can use your finger if you don't have your cinnamon sticks yet. Go ahead. And we're just going to secure it like that. Okay, so what we're going to do is take our needle and we are going to feed it through to the bottom. Don't lose your needle. Mine's kind of short there. And you see this was the bottom. And feed that through down there. All right. So there's that. So go ahead and pull this. And then with your other one that's down here, we're going to tie these two together. And feel free to get help if you need to, but there's that. And then we're going to tie it once more. Like that. And there's our bottom. And here's our top. Now, you can see one side's more dimpled down than the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both of these threads, and you can just do one if you want to, but I'm going to go ahead and use both of these, thread both of these on my yarn needle. Did I do it? Did I get, oh, I only got one. Get the other one. Okay, so now I'm going to feed these two back to the front over here. And so we have this side down. We're going to go ahead, feed that through, and we're going to put this, make sure it stays in focus, and grab this other side that's still up. We're going to feed that through, whoop, to the bottom, like that. Pull that other side down. There we go, that way. There we go. They're kind of evened out. See that? Go ahead and secure it on the bottom. All right, so we have those, and then we're going to take our little cinnamon stick, and there you go.